Gideon finally had an army. 32,000 men had answered the call. Then, before the battle began, God told him the one thing no commander wants to hear. The army was too large. Not too small, too large. And before that night was over, almost every soldier would be sent home. For 7 years, the book of Judges says, raiders swept across Israel's fields, destroying crops and taking animals. Families hid what they could. Gideon was beating wheat inside a winepress, using a place meant for grapes because the grain could not be seen so easily. That is where a divine messenger addressed him as a valiant warrior. The words almost sound ironic. Gideon was not standing at the head of an army. He was hiding food. Gideon did not answer with confidence. He questioned why his people were suffering and how someone from his weak clan could save them. He asked for signs. Judges does not hide his uncertainty. The calling arrives before the courage. Eventually, Gideon sounds the horn, messengers go out, and thousands gather. But the numbers create a new problem. First, anyone who was afraid could leave. 22,000 men went home. 10,000 remained. Then came the water test, and only 300 were kept. People often say those men were chosen because they were the most alert, but the passage never gives that explanation. It gives a different one. If a large army won, Israel might say its own strength had saved it. That night, Gideon was still afraid. The text says he slipped down toward the enemy camp with his servant. There he overheard one soldier telling another about a dream. A loaf of barley bread rolled into the camp and overturned a tent. The other man interpreted it as Gideon's victory. Gideon heard fear coming from the very army he feared and returned ready to act. The 300 were divided into 3 companies. Each man carried a horn, an empty jar, and a torch hidden inside it. At the beginning of the middle watch, just after new guards had taken their posts, the hills erupted. Horns sounded, jars shattered, 300 flames appeared around the camp, and voices shouted from every side. The men did not begin with a mass charge. Judges says they held their positions while panic spread below. The Midianite force ran, and in the confusion, swords turned against one another. This is often remembered as the story of 300 fearless warriors. That is why this story still matters. It does not say fear disappears before faith begins. It shows a frightened man taking the next faithful step, then another. And when the outcome finally comes, the story leaves no room for boasting. The numbers became smaller so the point could become larger. Deliverance was never supposed to look self-made.